We can now confirm without any doubt that Vladimir Putin is the most intelligent, smartest leader, master chess player of geopolitics that has ever existed in our generation. We will talk about Putin for centuries to come. You cannot show me in this time, in this generation, a man who can stand with Vladimir Putin or who can compete with him in terms of geopolitics. As soon as it was announced that Trump was going to meet with Vladimir Putin, the entire world was trembling. Journalists were coming from all over the world just to try to go meet both leaders, but to hear from Vladimir Putin. These are the same people who call him a criminal, but as soon as they hear that this man has to be somewhere, they're ready to spend their time, their money, everything you can imagine just to go see him. The amount of money they spent to travel there, getting plane ticket at the last minute, the amount of visas that the US consulate all over the world had to give only for this event is unbelievable. All right. So Donald Trump is probably not a geopolitics expert, right, when it comes to standing up with Vladimir Putin. However, Trump is not dumb. Watch how the Trump administration, the current US government, receive leaders that they view at the same level as the United States, great powers. And this is how they receive puppets, leaders. Now, I got another video for you. Watch how the US administration treat leaders who are at the same level as the United States. Watch.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Mr. Putin, will you agree to a ceasefire?
Thank you, press.
And here's how they treat puppet leaders. Watch this.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
My favorite is the picture that makes the mainstream propaganda media go wild and crazy, right? This is it. You cannot give me, right, the name of another leader who has ever entered the beast. The beast is the car of the president of the United States. Let me tell you, you know what? I'm wrong. There's another leader who entered the beast before, and watch this video. Medvedev, another leader of the Russian Federation. All right, that comes to tell you how Russia is viewed by the United States. Even when you hear them talk about all of that stuff, calling names and all of that stuff, the United States of America, doesn't matter what president, right? Look at Russia as a superpower. One thing about Trump that you need to understand is this, is that he has decided not to be a dumb leader. Bush, met with Putin, right? When he wanted to play with Putin, when it comes to the Georgia war, Putin humiliated him. He left. Then Obama came up with the reset button, right? Yeah, we want to reset with Russia. By the time he left, he got humiliated, and he was so hurt that he kicked out some Russian diplomats. And Putin humiliated him even more because Putin said, oh, well, I'm not going to respond to that, I'll wait until Donald Trump comes. Man, you talk about humiliation. Biden came, got humiliated with the Ukraine war. He thought, you know, with all the sanctions, Russia was going to last a few months and it capitulated. Wrong. Russia is still going strong, right? Look, we don't need any proof. Just watch Alaska, right? Now Trump is coming back to like, you know what? I may not be, right, the greatest politician, right, who can handle, you know, Putin, but I'm not dumb. I'm not going to take the same road as these, you know, people who, you know, the puppets who came right before me. I'm not going to do that. So you can call Trump whatever you want to call him. The way that he received Putin in Alaska, it was smart and intelligent. Oh yes. Right? Now, let's talk about the decisions that were made in Alaska about Ukraine. What is it that was said that we don't know? Let me just tell you straight up, because, you know, the mainstream media will never tell you because they're not focused on doing analysis. They are emotional. Putin told Trump, I know you want a Nobel Peace Prize. The only person standing between you and your prize is Zelensky. It's either you tell him to sign a deal where he's going to ask his troop to leave the Donbass, right? If he doesn't want to do that, fire him and get the new puppets to come in there and agree that he's just going to sign this deal and we are going to stop all hostilities. That is why Zelensky is coming to Washington. Trump already made it very clear. He said, no, the ball is on Zelensky's court. They're going to tell him straight up, hey, look, you either going to sign a deal to remove your troops so that we can, you know, head into a real peace, or we're just going to fire you. You make a choice. Now, my last message goes to the mainstream propaganda media because they're the one who are extremely upset. They're even more upset than the EU. I think that you were treated exactly the way you were supposed to be treated. You, the mainstream propaganda media, right? Because your hypocrisy doesn't have a name anymore. You spent all that money to come and try to think you were going to disrespect a world leader like Vladimir Putin, calling him a world criminal who won it by the kangaroo court, right? Look, let me remind you something. Putin is not the only one who, you know, the ICC, you know, fake court, you know, put an arrest warrant for. Remember Netanyahu? Yeah, I bet you don't remember, do you? Because we never hear you talking about the crimes that Netanyahu is committing in Gaza. You're quickened to open your loud mouth to call Vladimir Putin a world criminal. Maybe because the killings are done by your ally in Gaza. That's why you barely talk about it. If we compare the amount of reports that you put out when it comes to the Ukraine conflict versus Gaza conflict, the Ukraine conflict is number one. The way that Trump and Vladimir Putin treated you in Alaska is well deserved because of your hypocrisy. You are a shame to journalism. That's what you are. And you deserve exactly what you got. Bottom line, right? You want to report on something? Report on Gaza. Do you know how many people died in Gaza the same day that you were heckling Vladimir Putin? Do you know how many? I bet you don't, because you don't care. Instead of you to cry and boo-boo cry, right, about, you know, how they didn't allow you to ask any question and stuff like that, start to recognize that you are a failure when it comes to media and journalism. Your hypocrisy is not even hidden. You're not even hiding it. The day that you are going to stand up for the truth and report what is right, then you won't be disappointed. Donald Trump did exactly what he needed to do. It's better for him to at least be embarrassed, just so that I can stop sending the billions of dollars of taxpayers to the corrupt Ukraine. I am thankful for that.
Mentioned earlier, the Minister of Security and Civil Protection is with us. Good evening, Mr. Minister.
Good evening.
With you, a government statement.
Thank you. Statement 007 from the transitional government. The transitional government informs the national public of the arrest of a small group of fringe elements from the Malian armed security forces for criminal offenses aimed at destabilizing the institutions of the republic. At a time when the Malian nation, united in all its components, is mobilized to consolidate our regained sovereignty and eradicate the obscurantist terrorist forces of the Confederation of Sahel States, these military personnel and civilians had no other ambition than to attempt, with the help of foreign states, to break the momentum of Mali's rebuilding process. Thanks to the professionalism and vigilance of the specialized services, the conspiracy was thwarted, followed by the arrest of those involved as early as August 1st, 2025. Among those individuals who have been arrested and detained is a French national, specifically identified as Vizile Yan, who was actively operating on behalf of the French intelligence service. This individual was instrumental in enlisting various influential figures, including prominent political leaders, key civil society actors, and significant military personnel, notably including Brigadier Generals Abbas Dembele and Nema Sagara, into their clandestine operations. The transitional government, while condemning this subversive act, assures the public, on the one hand, that judicial investigations are ongoing to identify any possible accomplices, and on the other hand, that the armed and security forces remain determined to complete their mission of combating terrorism in all its forms. The transitional government also assures the public that the situation is completely under control and calls on the population to remain calm while staying vigilant in the face of desperate attempts at destabilization, which will always fail, God willing. May God bless Mali. Bamako, August 14, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. Now let's find out the identities of the individuals who have been apprehended.
Here are the images of the individuals who have been officially apprehended and are now in custody. Brigadier General Abbas Dembele, a high-ranking military officer, Brigadier General Nema Sagara, another distinguished military leader, Lieutenant Colonel Baba Dembele, a key figure in the armed forces, Lieutenant Colonel Saibu Keita, an important member of the military command, Lieutenant Colonel Mamadou Dichekoro Ndiaga, a prominent officer, Lieutenant Colonel Sungalo Diop, a respected military professional, Captain Mohamed Ouattara, a dedicated officer, Corporal Amadou Bouba Coulibaly, a member of the armed services, Chief Sergeant Bukari Karakojo, a senior non-commissioned officer, and Yakuba Kojo, an individual also taken into custody in connection with these events. Each of these individuals is now being held as part of the ongoing investigation into the recent incidents. Among those apprehended is a foreign national. He is of French nationality. His name is Jan Christian Bernard Bézilier. He actively participated in the operation that was successfully foiled by the specialized services.
Thank you.
The Kissinger reports of 1974. If as an African you have not familiarized yourself with this report, then you are sleeping. I promise you, you are sleeping. The Kissinger reports of 1974. The main purpose of that report was to analyze the global population growth, especially in less developed countries like African countries, and how it affects US foreign interests. So what they are saying in that report is that with time, if these less developed African countries are allowed to grow in population, they will eventually want access, more access to their mineral resources. And this will prevent US from getting access to these resources as they used to. So their target was to reduce the population of African countries or stop the population growth in African countries so that they can continue to get access to mineral resources for their own use. They lied to us that the reason why we need to reduce the rate at which we are giving birth or increasing in population is because the natural resources are limited and they cannot serve us all. Meanwhile, the main reason is because of their own interest. Africans, is this not enough evidence that the US want to reduce our population and GMO is helping them accomplish that? Is this not enough evidence? We need to start reading these Kissinger reports. Go and read it. You can use ChatGPT to summarize it for you. You will be surprised. This thing I'm telling you is a fact.
It's inside there. They did not hide it. And this is how these men bypass karma. They tell you exactly what they are doing to you, so that when karma comes knocking at their door, they will tell karma that they told you. So it's not as if they did it without your knowledge. You decided not to act on it. That's why. I'm telling you people for a fact. So the reason why they want us to reduce in population, or they want to reduce our population, is because of our mineral resources. They know that once we increase population, our population was never a problem to this universe. Africa has the resources equivalent to meet the demand of the population. I always told you people, we giving birth is not a problem. We just need more access to our mineral resources. We need our leaders to manage them well and create infrastructures where we can be producing finished goods from these mineral resources. We have resources. Our population, our resources can meet our population. Let's stop allowing foreigners to come and decide for us whether our population should be reduced or not. Our population does not need to reduce. Our population does not need to reduce. We need to stop buying all the ideas and suggestions that are coming from the West. Go and read the Kissinger reports. They want our mineral resources. They want to continue exploiting it for free. That's why they want our population to reduce. We need to be smart. This is what the West is all interested in. Our mineral resources. They don't care about our lives. Imagine the kind of entitlement these people have, that they feel our resources was created for them to enjoy. What about us? And then we are keeping quiet and allowing it to continue like that. Africans, why are we dumb? Why don't we read? Go and check for the 1974 Kissinger reports and see it for yourself. You will be shocked. Who are we trusting? We are trusting our lives into the hands of foreigners. We need to be smart. Go and read.